I just want to start off by saying that this is a sad, sad day for everyone involved in combat sports worldwide. Our condolences here at BFL go out to Tim's family. I can't imagine what they're going through right now. I first met Tim 10, 11 years ago when he was fighting for Hardcore Fighting Championship, while he was the King of the Cage champ. And he was the nicest, kindest, warm-hearted human being you'll ever meet. So this is just a sad, sad day. So the several media outlets that contacted me last night to comment on this, I appreciate that they didn't twist my words and they're giving me a chance to put out a video. So a lot of people are trying to shift the blame here from what I've seen online, to the commission that sanctioned this fight, which is, the commission is to blame, but let's get things out there. The first offender here is the promoter. So us at Battlefield here, we are promoters, so we know exactly how things work. So this promoter, I mean, for people who don't understand how sanctioning MMA fight works, or a boxing fight works, or in combat sports works, step one is the matchmaker of the promotion puts the fight together, which they feel it's safe, and then they submit it for approval to the sanctioning body. So this fight should have never been sent to the commission because it wasn't safe. Yes, the commission didn't do their job and they missed it, but let's not overlook the fact that this promoter put in Tim, who had accumulated in his last 8 combat sports, he'd been knocked out 6 out of 8 times. His last boxing fight, he's a one-on-one boxer going into this fight. His last boxing fight, he got killed by 1-0, a boxer with only 1 fight. His opponent, okay, he's got a record of 7-1. So first off, you got a 7-1 guy against a 1-1 guy. Then, sorry, that might have been 6-1 going into last night. His opponent has KO'd 5 KOs in a row against guys with winning records, against a guy who just got KO'd by a 1-0 fighter. Okay, so, and that's just the record. And then you got a power puncher, a KO artist, against a guy who keeps getting knocked out. I mean, that's the most dangerous situation. So what the matchmaker and the promoter is thinking, putting that fight together, in my opinion, that's a crime. That's criminal. You don't do that. Now I know how this is going to play out. The promoter is going to come out and say, well, what else can we do? Tim went in there and passed his medicals and he was cleared fit to fight. Let me tell you something. I would pass my medicals. I'd be cleared fit to fight. Would I go in there and fight Adam? What happens if I die? I was fit to fight. You have to look at the matchup. So before everybody, the commission should have never approved it, but before everybody just, shifts the blame to the commission and doesn't fix the issue here, of these gross mismatches. Some guys want to build, like some promotions, some agents build the guy's record. Okay? You can still do that, but you don't put a KO artist against a guy towards the end of his career who's continuously getting KO'd. Let me give you an example of this. Okay, I called Tim about 18 months ago to book him in a title fight against Arjun. Okay, now us being out here in BC, we don't know exactly what's going on out in Edmonton. So that was on social media that we were offering this fight. It was getting some hype. And, and just a reminder, what happened here last night was in a boxing ring. It wasn't an MMA. But I was trying to book an MMA fight. So a couple of, MMA promotions compete with each other, but still we work together to look out for the safety of the fighters. So a couple of our competitors out in Edmonton called me up and they go, Jay, this is, Tim is not training full time. He's fighting part time. This is, don't put this fight together. They explained to me, and I understood, and I didn't try to put it together, and that was the end of that. And then at the same time, every time he's trying to get in there, you got his teammates, you got his friends on top of MMA news. The threads are out there, arguing that, hey, this is like 4 times, you shouldn't be doing this. But sometimes, fighters have a big heart and they want to go in there. But now here's in a situation, a lot of the bigger MMA promoters know, and they're not offering him a fight. Now, in boxing, let me give you an example. Pro fights, guys who have transitioned, like MMA guys in BFL that go over for pro boxing for 1 and 2 fights, the record, 0-11. Every time they go, I tell their coaches, I tell everybody, I go, be careful, you're getting set up. They're paying you that kind of money to come into boxing, you're getting set up. Just make sure it's safe. You're not going to get killed out there. 0-9. They haven't won once when they've gone over for pro boxing. This is not amateur pro boxing. Okay? So when you put together that matchup, how do you submit that matchup? Okay, now the promoter is going to argue that, hey, we didn't know it's not safe. When you get licensed to become a promoter, you write down the history of what you know in the sport. So you must have some knowledge to get your license. Okay, so somehow you got licensed. Now explain to everybody, what made you feel that this is a safe matchup? Now people might say BFL saying this stuff. Sometimes they're building guys up. Let me give you an example. The severe, one of the biggest mismatches that we've had. Okay, people will say, okay, Yannick going up against like Dan or Ash, right? You call up Yannick right now. In those fights, when guys are going like that, we tell Yannick, 8 out of 10 times you're going to lose this fight. Don't take this fight. But then sometimes you got stubborn fighters that are like, I want to fight the best. I want to fight this guy. I want to get the higher purse. So we still tell them this is not a good fight. But at least you're like, look, Ash, he like 65% of his wins are by submission. He's not going out there killing people. You know what I mean? He's not a KO. These guys are the same size. Yannick is like, and it's still not, Yannick is not getting knocked out every fight. You know what I mean? He's getting subbed, he's losing decisions. Tim was getting knocked out going into this, and Ash wasn't knocking people out. So we put the fight together. Then Yannick calls and he wants to fight Curtis Harriott next. We go, that's enough. We're not doing this anymore. Okay? You got to fight guys with your own same skill set. Another example, Jamie Siraj takes all those elbows. Okay, he was still 3-2 after a loss to Cole Smith. But his coach, Cajun, has the intelligence to call us and say, hey, I don't want Jamie in his next fight against a KO artist or a heavy puncher, right? So people in MMA have the knowledge. They look out for each other, and they know if you're building a guy, you still don't do this dangerous KO artist against a guy who keeps getting KO. Okay, if somebody doesn't say something, this is going to be the Tim Hagues rule, Promoter needs to be criminally liable for their decisions. You put this kind of matchup, sure, the commission is responsible, but you're responsible first. You submitted it to them. You committed a crime hoping that they would miss it. Okay, it's not a joke. Look what happened. So from here on, when a promoter submits a mismatch like that, a dangerous mismatch, any way you look at it, nobody's going to ever be able to explain how anybody who understands anything about the sport, that's a safe fight. It had all the warning signs that something bad was going to happen. All the blogs and everything for like a year on top of MMA news, people have been saying that this kind of thing shouldn't happen. And he wasn't getting MMA fights with the big promotions. We know better. Then he goes into boxing, puts in a clear mismatch, and this happens. That's a crime.